Carter Brown, Mysteries. Adventures in excitement and suspense, based on the best-selling novels by the slick storytelling sensation, Carter Brown.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Carter Brown with another of my books for you, a story called Kudos for Kahn, and the Kahn in this case is named Joe, a private eye in the best tradition. He's got an office, a pretty secretary, and no clients, until a luscious lady walks into his life, and from then on, complications call for Kahn. Now, here he is, Joe Kahn himself.
When I came into the office that morning, Daisy had her feet up on the desk again. Not that I mind looking at her legs. They're very good legs. A lot of guys paid dough to see them when she was in show business. But I had a feeling that a secretary with her feet up isn't good for office routine. Not that my office had any routine.
Good morning, boss.
Daisy, put your legs down.
Why? Have I got a ladder? They look all right to me.
They look all right to me, too, but that's not the point.
So what are you worrying about?
An office is a place where you're supposed to work.
All the secretaries show their legs to the boss. You're the only one who's not interested.
I should be interested in your legs when we haven't had a client in 3 weeks.
Why don't we take a holiday, Joe? Let's go to Miami and laze on the beach. Just you and me, huh?
Get off that Miami beach before you get sunburned. Daisy, the phone. It's ringing.
Oh. Hello? Oh, sure, you could see him anytime. He's not doing anything. 11 o'clock? Oh, that'll be fine. Bye.
That's a fine way to impress anyone. You can see him anytime. He's not doing anything. They'll think we're broke.
Aren't we?
That's not the point. Who was it?
A dame. Her name's Diane Clutterbuck. She sounded fat with wrinkled stockings.
What did she want?
To see you. I can't think why.
I don't know why I keep you. I should fire you.
You'd never be able to pay my back salary.
Promptly at 11, Diane Clutterbuck arrived. I took one look at her and thought of Daisy's description. Fat with wrinkled stockings. This dame looked like a Miss Universe winner taken in hand and tuned up by Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. She was a redhead with a swept-up hairdo and a figure that would have sent Cleopatra back down the Nile looking for a dietitian.
Mr. Kahn.
That's me. Won't you come in and sit down?
A friend of mine recommended me to come to you. He told me you were the best private detective in the city.
Modesty forbids me saying how right he was.
I'm trying to find my sister, Mr. Kahn. I've tried all the official channels, and she still can't be found. I've come to you in the hope that you might be able to achieve what the police and other authorities haven't.
How long has she been missing?
Look, I think I'd better tell you the whole story.
Yeah, that's usually a good idea.
My sister married an American serviceman in England 2 years ago. 6 months after her marriage, she came with him to America, to this city. 3 months after that, her husband was killed in a car accident. I had 1 or 2 letters after that. She wrote about coming home to England, and then said she'd got a job here and thought she'd stay a while. And then the letters stopped altogether.
I see.
At last, I managed to make the trip across. Now, I've been here for a month, and the authorities can find no trace of her at all. I don't even know if she's still alive.
That's tough.
Mr. Kahn, I can't tell you what it would mean to know. Just to know, definitely. It's this frightening uncertainty. Even if I knew she was dead, I'd feel better.
Yeah, I can understand that. What's your sister's name?
Helen. Her married name was Duisberg.
You got a last address?
Of course, but the police checked there. Helen had left without giving any forwarding address.
Where was she working?
A nightclub called the Casbah.
Doing what?
Dancing, that was her profession.
And what did they say?
Practically the same thing. She left suddenly without telling them why or where she was going.
So she could be anywhere in the United States, huh?
Mr. Kahn, I realize that it sounds almost an impossible task, but I'm desperate.
Okay, I'll try and find her for you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kahn.
A couple more things. When you went to the police, who did you see?
A lieutenant named Harding.
Where'd you find him?
Well, I went to the Bureau of Missing Persons. They put me in touch with the lieutenant. He was from the homicide section, I think they called it.
Homicide?
Yes.
Oh, no, not a thing. I just wanted to make sure I had it right. The other thing is, have you a picture of your sister?
Yes, I brought a photograph with me. Here you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, you certainly got one thing in common, you and your sister.
Oh?
You're both beautiful girls.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kahn.
Lady, don't smile at me like that. You'll take my mind off my work. She gave me her sister's last address and her own. She was staying at the Astoria, and then Diane Clutterbuck curved her convex way out. Whoever said English dames had nothing needed an optometrist. This Clutterbuck babe made even Sabrina look leaner.
Yes, boss.
Daisy, is there any coffee?
Coffee? Well, it's nearly time for lunch. I thought you'd be taking me to lunch.
What would I use for money?
Haven't we got Clutterbuck for clients?
Sure.
Well, didn't she give you some dough as a retainer?
Holy... I never thought about asking for it.
What were you thinking about? No, don't tell me. I'm a nice girl.
You wanted to see me? I'm Harding.
I ask you to give me a time, Lieutenant.
What do you want?
I'm Joe Kahn, a private detective. I'm working for a lady by the name of Diane Clutterbuck.
Yeah, the dame who came over from England looking for her sister?
That's right, Helen Duisberg.
Well?
I hoped you might be able to tell me something.
She can tell you as much as I can. The sister's missing, disappeared, that's all I know.
The husband, Duisberg?
Got himself killed in an accident 3 or 4 months ago.
Was it an accident?
What are you getting at, Kahn?
You're a homicide, Lieutenant. You aren't interested in accidents or missing persons either, for that matter. The Clutterbuck girl went to missing persons, and they sent her to you. Why? Because you're tied up in the case. And the only way you could be tied up in it means that you're interested in finding Helen Duisberg because you're not satisfied that the husband died by accident.
Kahn, let me give you some advice. Stay out of this. Tell the Clutterbuck woman you're sorry, but you can't do anything for her.
Look, Lieutenant, she hires me to find her sister. That's all I care about. If you've got any leads, maybe I could help.
Kahn, the department needs private eyes like it needs a hole in the head. Now stay clear of this gumshoe, or you're likely to find yourself minus a license.
Joe, what do you know?
Daisy, I'm not in the mood for riddles.
The Clutterbuck dame came good. She sent around $400 in cash.
Well, she did? That's great. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that a new blouse you're wearing?
Uh-huh. I thought I'd grab a couple of weeks' salary before you hogged the lot.
How much have we got left?
$275.
I'll take it, thanks. All of it, all of it. Fine thing when a guy can't trust his secretary. Now listen, Daisy. I want you to call Dave Toady at the Globe. Tell him you're speaking for me and get him to look up the files and give me what they've got in the Duisberg accident.
And what'll you be doing?
Getting spruced up to go night clubbing.
A nightclub? Aren't you going to take me with you to celebrate?
You've done your celebrating with that new blouse. Now it's my turn. The nightclub I had in mind was the Cares Bar. Getting to see the manager involved a lot of phone calls and finally an escort. A hulking hood named Hank. The manager's name was Mailer.
You wanted to see me?
I'm Joe Kahn, a private eye.
Yep, I've heard of you.
I'm trying to find Helen Duisberg.
I'd like to find her, too. She was good. My floor show's never been the same without her. But I'm afraid I can't help you, Kahn.
I thought you might have something to give me a lead.
Oh, she came and asked for a job. She worked in London, she said. I gave an audition. I gave her a job. She worked here 6 weeks. One night she didn't turn up. I haven't seen her since.
There was no reason why she should want to leave the place?
Not that I know of. I was paying her good dough. She seemed quite satisfied.
You ever know Duisberg, her husband?
No. Should I?
I guess not. He was killed in a car accident a few months ago.
I never know him. Cops were around asking questions, but I told them it's a big country. People want to blow, they blow. And it makes them hard to find.
I've got to try. I got a client who's paying.
Sorry I can't help you, Kahn.
Thanks for your trouble, anyway. I went back into the club and headed for a phone. Mailer was lying. I didn't know how I knew, but I was sure of it. And he hadn't really liked the reference to Duisberg. As I dialed Daisy's apartment, I was hoping she'd be home.
Hello?
Daisy, this is Joe.
Well, this is a surprise. What's the matter? Things kind of quiet at the Cat's
Never mind the
Bar?
comedy, kid. Did you call Dave Toady?
Yes. All he could tell me was that Carl Duesberg was found in the gutter on Hope Street around 4 a.m. one morning. He must have been coming home from late shift, and he'd been hit by a truck. They never found any trace of the truck.
Late shift. That means they know the firm you work for.
Sure. Glauben Chemicals.
Thanks, Daisy. Oh, and don't expect me in the office too early tomorrow.
Why? A heavy date with a dancing girl?
No, a date with a personnel manager of Glauben Chemicals. First thing in the morning.
Yes?
Mr. Kaplan,
Yes?
my name's Joe Kahn. They gave me your name and address at Glauben Chemicals.
Oh?
It's about Carl Duesberg and his wife, Helen. I was told you were his best friend at the plant.
Yes, that's right. You'd better come in. I've been expecting you to call. Carl said either his wife or a friend of hers would come for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's been a responsibility. My wife didn't like me keeping it. She said we should hand it over to the police, but I promised Carl faithfully that anything happened to him, I was to hold on to it until his wife sent for it. If you'll just wait a minute, Mr. Kahn, I'll go and get it.
I stared blankly at his back as he moved away. Whatever else I'd expected, it wasn't this. But it looked like I was in luck. And there was a lead to Helen Duesberg coming up.
Carter Brown Mysteries. Adventures in excitement and suspense, based on the best-selling novels by the slick storytelling sensation, Carter Brown.
As I waited for the little guy Kaplan to come back, I couldn't help speculating on what it was that he'd promised to hold on to for the dead Carl Duesberg. Whatever it was, it promised a lead for me to Duesberg's wife, Helen, whom her sister Diane Clutterbuck had hired me to find. And Clutterbuck had come just in time, because Joe Kahn, private detective, and his secretary, Daisy, were minus credit, cash, or clients. I was just finishing a cigarette as Kaplan came back.
Here you are, Mr. Kahn. I haven't liked holding on to a dead man's property, but since I'd promised Carl...
Sure, Mr. Kaplan, I understand.
Now my wife can stop worrying. The parcel is delivered, and we're finished with it. Tell his wife from me, Mr. Kahn, that Carl was a great guy.
Sure, Mr. Kaplan, I'll be happy to. That accident was a terrible thing.
Terrible. And the truck driver never stopped. I don't know how he could have that on his conscience.
Yeah.
Poor Carl. He must have been careless. He had something on his mind, you know. He was worried the last 3 weeks before he died.
Worried, huh? He never mentioned what was worrying him.
No, he never said anything, but I could tell. He didn't have his mind on his job.
Or on where he was going, I guess. Hence the truck.
I suppose so. Well, I'm glad you came, Mr. Kahn. That parcel's been on my mind all the time.
It was on my mind, too, every second of the way back to my apartment. When I got inside the door, I opened it. It contained a note and a silver box. I read the note first. Dear Helen, you won't be reading this unless the worst has happened. I know that sooner or later you will think of Kaplan and ask him if I left anything with him for you. He is the only person I can trust. I thought it was safer to do it this way. If they try and force you to tell them where it is, you won't know. Do whatever you think best, darling. Goodbye, Carl. Then I opened the box and nearly fainted, because the box was brimful of dough, tightly wrapped wads of high-denomination notes. When I finished counting, I got another shock. There was just under $200,000. But where it had come from or what it meant was a mystery. I got rid of the wrapping paper and shoved the box in a drawer. Then I picked up the phone and dialed the office.
Kahn Detective Agency.
Daisy.
Well, the boss himself. When are we going to be honored with your presence in the office?
Later. First, I've got a proposition to make to you, Daisy.
Oh, goody. I'd given up hope.
Not that kind of proposition. How'd you like another job?
You can't fire me till you've paid my back salary.
I wasn't thinking of firing you. I want you to help me on this case.
Oh, that's different. What do you want me to do?
Get a job at that nightclub, the Casbah.
What doing?
Well, how do I know? But you're always busy displaying your legs around the office. Maybe the Casbah will pay you for doing it.
Okay, I'll try.
That's my girl.
I wish I were.
Now, let's stick to business. Speaking of which, anything new around the place?
Well, there was a dame came in, but she didn't look exactly new to me.
What did she want?
To see you. There was a guy with her, lean Latin type.
Did they say why they wanted me?
No. But let me warn you, boss, in case she comes back.
Oh?
She looks like a lady to stay away from in the clinches.
Thanks for the tip, Daisy. I'll keep it in mind. Callers. Yeah?
Mr. Kahn? Forgive the intrusion, but it is important that we speak to you, if we may.
Sure, come in.
Permit me to introduce myself. I'm Earl Cortez, and this is my sister, Inez.
Hi.
How do you do, Mr. Kahn? We called at your office earlier, but your secretary, is it, told us you were not in?
Oh, that was you, was it?
So we thought we would try your apartment. You will be wondering about the purpose of our visit, Mr. Kahn, so perhaps it is best if I come straight to the point. You have been hired by Diane Clutterbuck to find a woman, Helen Duesberg, that is so?
You're telling the story.
I also particularly want to find this woman. She has something which belongs to me. Would you have any objection to accepting 2 clients?
It's not exactly ethical.
I will pay double the fees Diane Clutterbuck is paying you.
Sorry, no dice. I may not look as though I go in for business ethics, but I do.
I see.
Perhaps Mr. Kahn might be more receptive to persuasion from me.
Yes, that could be so. In any case, I have another appointment. If you will excuse me. Oh, please don't trouble. I shall let myself out.
Well, can I offer you a drink, Miss Cortez, or is it too early in the day?
No drink, thank you. And I hate formality. Why don't you call me Inez?
Yeah, I'd like that.
And your name?
Joe. Exotic, isn't it?
Joe. I like it. Come and sit over here, Joe. Close to me.
Inez, I don't need asking twice.
You know, Joe, my brother Earl is a big man, a wealthy man. If you take this job for him, there will be other jobs. He will do anything for his friends. But if he doesn't like people, he can be a dangerous enemy.
How about you, Inez? Are you dangerous, too?
I am like my brother. We are half Spanish, you know. I can be dangerous, Joe. I can also be nice to people I like. Very nice. And I like you, Joe. You're a hunk of man, Joe.
Yeah. And I'm gonna prove it.
Joe.
Oh, baby.
You will do this thing for her, won't you, Joe?
No.
What?
I said no. Not after one kiss, not after 100.
Oh, you!
Oh. Hey, you wield quite a wallop, baby.
It is a mistake to laugh at me, Mr. Kahn. You will find that out. Remember, I told you that I could be dangerous.
She slammed the door nearly as hard as she'd slapped my face. I thought Inez wasn't kidding about being dangerous. And I thought it might be a good thing to try and find out a few things about her and her brother.
Hotel Astoria.
Miss Clutterbuck, please.
One moment.
Hello?
Miss Clutterbuck, this is Joe Kahn.
Mr. Kahn, you found Helen?
Not yet, but I'd like to have a talk to you if it's convenient.
Yes, of course. When?
Say, quarter of an hour?
Very well. I'll be waiting for you in the bar.
On my way to the Astoria, I stopped up at my bank. I had the silver box with the $200,000 with me, and I hired a safe deposit box and left the money inside it. Then I mailed the safe deposit key to myself at the office by registered mail. An old gag, but effective. The bar of the Astoria had stools. On one of them, Diane Clutterbuck was seated. She had an old-fashioned drink in front of her and an old-fashioned look in her eyes.
Well, Mr. Kahn, you've arrived at last. I've been waiting here exactly 30 minutes.
Sorry I was delayed. I'll have whatever the lady's drinking, barman.
Okay.
What did you want to see me about?
Just a little information, if you have it.
What kind of information?
He drinks it.
Oh, thanks. Here, keep the change. Well, here's luck.
Are you going to tell me now what you want, Mr. Kahn?
Sure. I met some friends of yours a little while ago, Miss Clutterbuck.
What friends of mine?
Maybe they're just acquaintances. Earl and Inez Cortez.
Oh. Yes, I know them.
Earl had a proposition. You'd hired me to find Helen. He wanted me to do the same.
It's not precisely ethical, is it, Mr. Kahn, to accept two clients for the one task?
Which is why I turned this proposition down.
And then Earl left, leaving Inez behind to persuade you.
They must be friends of yours. You know their every move.
How successfully did Inez do her persuading?
Very successfully. Until she asked me outright if I'd accept Earl's offer. I told her no.
Oh. I can imagine her reaction to that.
It was drastic, to say the least.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kahn.
Well, let's skip the formality. Call me Joe.
Very well. We'll make it first names for both of us. I've always hated Clutterbuck anyway.
I'm surprised some guy hasn't tried to change it.
Between trying and succeeding is a long way, Joe.
I see. Well, to get off the personal and back to the personnel in this case, you can imagine that I'm curious, Diana.
Yes, of course.
Who is Earl Cortez?
I believe your American phrase is racketeer.
Huh?
I have a nasty feeling that Helen must have been mixed up with him at some stage or other. He seemed to know her quite well.
How did you meet him?
He was at the Casbah when I saw Mr. Mailer there.
And you don't know anything else about him or his sister?
No, except that I have a feeling he'd make a bad enemy.
Diane, that's one feeling we have in common. I left the Astoria and headed back to the office. The door was locked, and as I opened it, I wondered what had become of Daisy. Then the phone rang, and I found out.
Joe?
Yeah.
I got the job, Joe. Starting tonight, I'm a cigarette girl at the Casbah.
Great, Daisy. I told you those legs of yours would pay off.
Since I can't work day and night, I've decided not to come into the office today.
Sure, that's okay.
I'll call you if I hear anything worth hearing.
That's the girl. Oh, Daisy,
Yeah?
keep your eyes peeled for that man and woman who came looking for me. The guy's name is Cortez. The dame is his sister, Inez.
Oh, they found you, huh?
Yeah. You know what you said about her? You were right.
Oh, thanks. Hey, wait a minute. I said she looked like a lady to stay away from in the clinches.
That's right.
Well, the only way you could know I was right would be because...
That's right.
Why, you oversized apology for a wolf.
Hey, now wait a minute.
Here have I been trying all this time to clutch you in a clinch, and what do? Pass me up for that.
Daisy, watch your language. And watch the Cortez couple, too. They're in this thing up to their teeth, and I got a feeling those teeth can be awful sharp.
Carter Brown, Mysteries. Adventures in excitement and suspense, based on the best-selling novels by the slick storytelling sensation, Carter Brown.
Well, it looked like your hero, Joe Kahn, wasn't the only one searching for Helen Duisberg. But at least your hero knew why the dame was so popular. Because of the parcel given to me by her dead husband's pal, Kaplan. The parcel which contained $200,000 and which now nestled in my safe deposit box. Since I was sure that Mailer, the manager of the Casbah Night Club, was tied up in the thing, I'd had my secretary, Daisy, get herself a job there as cigarette girl. Then I sat tight and waited for something to break. Hello?
Is that you, Mr. Kahn?
Yeah, who's that?
It's Kaplan here. You remember me?
Oh, sure. What can I do for you, Mr. Kaplan?
You remember I gave you a parcel?
Yep.
Well, there seems to have been some sort of mistake.
Mistake?
Yes. Mrs. Duisberg is with me now, and she claims that she never gave you any authority to pick up that parcel for her. And she wants it right away.
She's with you now?
That's right, Mr. Kahn.
Well, hold her there. I'll be right over.
Mr. Kahn, you were quick. Come in.
Thanks. She's still here?
Yes, she's waiting for you in the living room. This way.
I'm glad you called me, Kaplan. Now, don't worry. I can straighten everything out.
I hope so. Here we are.
What? Don't be shy, Kahn. Come on in.
Mailer.
Hank? You're right, Kahn. That's a gun in your kidneys. Play it smart and you'll keep them. Get his gun, Hank. That's it.
Well. Nice work, Kaplan. You really had me fooled. I thought the Duisberg dame was really here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kahn. Honest I am, but they burst in here threatening me. I wouldn't have done it even then, but they started on my wife. I just couldn't stand that, Mr. Kahn. I just couldn't stand it.
Sure, Kaplan, sure, I understand.
Now we've all had a good cry. Where is it, Kahn?
How did you figure Kaplan?
Not too difficult. After you came to see me, I said to Hank, there goes one smart private eye. Why don't you follow him around a little and see where he goes?
Oh?
We got interested when you went to Glauben Chemicals, and even more interested when you came here to see Kaplan. You're smart, all right, Kahn. It was staring us in the face, but we never saw it. Cortez never chose Carl Duisberg for the job because he was dumb. He chose him because he had brains. And Duisberg wouldn't trust anybody. But he thought he'd look after his wife, Helen. So he made sure even she wouldn't know where it was, until she woke up sometime and remembered his pal Kaplan. That way, he made it safe for Helen, both with Cortez and me. It took a private eye to show us the way.
Yeah, a private eye who was so smart he forgot to look behind him when he walked down the road.
We all make mistakes, and we have to pay for them. So where is it?
Supposing I don't tell you.
Supposing you want to go on living.
That's just why I won't tell you. You aren't going to kill me till you get what was in that parcel. So, I think I won't tell you.
Hank? Now, where did you say it was?
I let you into a secret, Naylor. I can take an awful lot of that. It's not as bad as people make out. When it gets really bad, you pass out anyway. And even if you don't pass out, you say the parcel is somewhere where it isn't. That gives you a break until the guy finds out it isn't there. It's a game we could play for a long time.
So, what do you want for the parcel? A percentage? We could discuss it.
I don't want any percentage. I got into this because I have a client. I want what the client wants. Helen Duisberg. Give me Helen, and I'll give you the parcel.
I'll need 48 hours. I'll have to do a little organizing.
Okay, you'll call me?
No, I don't think so. Just in case you change your mind and decide to skip with the parcel, I think you'd better be my guest for the next 48 hours. The Casbah isn't a bad sort of place.
Okay, suits me.
We'll go then. Mr. Kaplan.
Yes?
Here's $500. That's to help you forget about what's happened here. If you don't forget, we'll come back.
It was early when we arrived at the Casbah. Too early for customers, but not for the staff, the waiters, and the cigarette girls. As we walked through the room, I saw a vision in black net stockings, black tights, and a tight black blouse.
What's the matter? What are you stopping for?
I'm out of cigarettes. Mind if I buy some?
No, go ahead.
Thanks.
Cigarettes, sir?
2 packs of Camels. Daisy, they're going to keep me here. Find out which room. See if you can get the key. I got to get out, but fast.
The things I do for a living. 2 packs of Camels, sir.
Thanks. Keeps the change. I left Daisy, rejoined Mailer and Hank, and was led down a corridor past Mailer's office. They stopped at a door and opened it.
I apologize for the smallness of the room, Kahn, but you'll be comfortable here, if a little restricted. Tomorrow we'll let you out and around for exercise. I'll have a meal sent up later.
Thanks.
Be seeing you, Kahn.
The click of the lock was an unpleasant sound somehow. I reached for a cigarette and wished it was a bottle. About an hour later, the door opened and Hank dumped a tray inside. The food was good, but it almost made me feel sleepy. 2 hours later, I was stretched on the bed when the key grated in the lock again.
Joe.
Daisy.
Hurry up.
Daisy, honey. How'd you do it?
That ugly character called Hank had the key.
Well, how'd you get it from him?
I distracted him.
But how?
These legs you're always talking about.
Oh, they're worth their weight in gold. Then what?
Then I smacked him with a bottle.
Daisy, you're a wonder. How do we get out of here?
Straight down to the right. That's the back door. Come on, hurry, before Hank comes round.
Hey, there's a car.
Oh, Joe, the car's no good unless you've got the keys for it.
Well, you never know. People get careless. Hey, we're in luck. Look, a Cadillac with keys.
Oh.
Here's where we ride in style, baby. Come on, climb in.
Well, I think I rate a raise for that rescue act.
You sure do, honey. You're terrific. There's only one thing I wish.
What?
If we'd had time to get back to Hank so I could have collected my gun.
Well, keep your eyes straight ahead.
Huh?
Don't turn your head. Now, hold out your hand. Is that it?
My gun? Daisy.
I thought you might want a gun, so I took it. I'm glad to get rid of it. The darn thing was cold.
And that's it, Daisy. The whole story up to date.
Gee, $200,000. That's enough to last for a lifetime.
But it's probably hot money, honey.
It'd keep me warm, for sure.
Besides, think of all the taxes.
Yes. And that takes the dough out of my dreams. Back to being your secretary with no salary. At least they'd have paid me at the Casbah. It was a nice place. They run it in style.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as his place in Toulouse, they tell me. A club called the Arabian Nights. They say it's super.
Yeah. Hey, what was that?
What's the matter? Did I say something?
Did you ever? What was that about a place in Toulouse?
Well, they say it's better than the Casbah, that's all.
Hall is right. But of course it's a natural. Mailer said it'd take him 48 hours to get her up here. If she's working at his Toulouse joint, he'd need time to replace her. Daisy!
Oh, don't yell like that. You startle me.
Now, look, get on the phone and find out when the next plane leaves for Toulouse. Book 2 seats. Then get back to your apartment, change and pack. I'll do the same. Then we go looking for some quiet hotel.
What for?
Just to keep out of Mailer's way till the plane goes. Now go to it, honey. While I waited for Daisy to come back, I did one more thing. I called Diane Clutterbuck at the Astoria and told her about my hunch that the sister she was looking for was at Mailer's night spot in Toulouse. I promised to call a long distance if my hunch paid off. The next evening, Daisy and I were sitting at a table in the Arabian Nights in Toulouse.
Well, they were right about this place being better than the Casbah.
Yeah. That's a first-rate floor show.
Joe Kahn, keep that wolf in his kennel. I'm the girl you should be concentrating on, not those underdressed stains on the floor.
But they're really something. Especially that black-haired babe. She can dance, too.
It's not her dancing you're interested in.
Well, that, too.
I thought you said this Helen Duesberg would be doing her act here. She hasn't come on so far, and the floor show's nearly finished.
Yeah, I've been worrying about that, too.
Kahn, the great detective. Has it occurred to you we might have made the trip for nothing?
Oh, not for nothing, honey. Just to catch those cuties is worth plenty.
They're finishing, thank goodness. There. That raven-haired beauty you were feasting your eyes on is taking her bow, and...
Well, I'll be...
That black hair, it's a wig. She's taken it off. She's a blonde.
She's not only a blonde, she is also Helen Duesberg.
Joe!
Yeah, we found her, Daisy. You stay here, honey.
Where are you going?
To say hello to Helen. Keep a candle in the window for me.
Come in.
Mrs. Duesberg?
Who are you?
I'm Joe Kahn, a private detective. That probably doesn't mean anything to you, but your sister Diane hired me to find you for her.
My sister Diane.
That's right. I might also tell you that I found out where Carl left the silver box.
What?
He left it with Kaplan. He wrote you a note with it. Said that was the safest way.
How do you know this?
It's a long story, but I've got the silver box. I was bargaining it against you with Mailer. The question is now, what do you want to do about it?
I'm afraid it's a little late for Mrs. Duesberg to decide that.
What? Cortez?
Plus a gun, Mr. Kahn. Plus a gun.
Carter Brown, Mysteries. Adventures in excitement and suspense, based on the best-selling novels by the slick storytelling sensation, Carter Brown.
I had lived up to my reputation. The smart private eye, Joe Kahn, the clever character. I'd found the girl I was hired to look for, Helen Duesberg. Daisy and I had come to Toulouse, the Mailers Club, the Arabian Nights. I figured that was where he was hiding Helen, and I was right. But what I hadn't figured on was someone else who was looking for Helen. A smooth guy called Earl Cortez, who appeared in the dressing room with a gun.
Please do not make any trouble, Mr. Kahn. For one thing, I should have to shoot you, and for another, we have your girlfriend who was with you at the table, and her safety is dependent on your behavior.
Okay, Cortez. Looks like it's all yours.
It certainly is. Stand quite still, please, Mr. Kahn. You are probably carrying a gun, and I would feel safer if it were in my possession. That's better.
Now what?
Now we will wait in the corridor while Mrs. Duesberg here gets dressed. Then we will take a short journey. Please be quick, Mrs. Duesberg. That's right, Mr. Kahn. Just stand in front of me while we wait.
Tell me something. How did you find out that Helen was here at the Arabian Nights?
I have my sources of information, Mr. Kahn.
Where's your sister, Inez?
You will see her shortly. At the moment, she is taking care of your girlfriend.
Oh?
You don't sound very pleased about that. You are quite right. Inez can be rather unpleasant. Ah, you are ready, Mrs. Duesberg. Splendid. Now, we will go.
Cortez directed us to the back door. There was a car outside with a man at the wheel. Helen and I were piled in, and the car drove to a house on the outskirts of Toulouse. It was a big house, big enough to scream in and not be heard outside, which was bad. Cortez and his man, whose name was Hugo, took us into the living room.
Joe, they got you.
Yeah, I'm afraid they did, Daisy. You all right?
So far.
So far is correct, Mr. Kahn.
Well, hello there, Inez. How's your sex appeal making out these days, huh?
I have other weapons when sex appeal fails. Like this.
You know I'd have picked you for a knife artist. There's something sharp about your manner.
I am very good with a knife, Mr. Kahn. Good enough to stop your joking forever. Well, we are all here now, aren't we? Let us get on with it.
There is still one more person to come, Inez.
No, I'm here.
Diane!
Hello, Joe. You look surprised. Oh, but of course you didn't expect to see me in Duluth, did you?
So that's it. That's how Cortez knew where to find help.
Bad luck, Joe. All's fair, you know.
No wonder you knew Cortez and his sister and all about the way they work. But I don't get it. What's behind it all?
We will leave that part of it for the moment. There are more urgent things to discuss. The money. Who's got it? You, Mrs. Duesberg? Don't make the mistake of trying to keep it from us, my dear. You wouldn't want us to get nasty, would you?
Lay off there, Cortez. I can tell you who's got the dough I have.
You, Mr. Kahn?
Yeah.
Very well. Where is it?
Oh, tut. You disappoint me, Earl. Your technique is as crude as Mailer's. And that was the way he approached the subject.
Kahn, I am not in the mood for fooling.
Let me get at him, Earl. I will make him sing like a canary.
Seeing that my ex-client, Miss Clutterbuck, is batting in your league, it leaves me minus a fee. I'd still like to draw a check for services rendered. Say, 25,000?
Say 5.
25 is only 12.5%. When you remember that I'm holding the money, I figure my fee is moderate.
Ines, I think we can get better terms from Mr. Kahn. Would you like to demonstrate your skill on his girlfriend?
It would be a pleasure, Earl. I have several interesting accomplishments with the knife, Mr. Kahn.
Hold it. Okay, I'll tell you.
Joe.
Well, they're not kidding, Daisy.
You are a wise man, Mr. Kahn. Where is it?
It's in a safe deposit box in the bank. I mailed the key to myself at my office.
In that case, there is nothing to keep us here in Duluth any longer. It will take us a day to make the trip back by car, so we will get started at once.
It was a long and uncomfortable car ride. Once we reached the old hometown, Cortez dropped his pal Hugo and me outside my office and then went on. Hugo kept close beside me all the way to the bank and then took charge of the silver box for the $200,000. 20 minutes later, we were in the living room of a mansion where Cortez, Diane, Inez, Helen, and Daisy were waiting.
You've got it, Hugo. Fine.
Better make sure it's all there, Earl.
My dear Diane, of course. Open the box, Hugo.
Well, it was a roundabout way of finding it, but thanks to you, Joe, found it we have.
Yeah. Just tell me one thing to satisfy my curiosity. What is this dough and where did it come from?
I'm quite happy to enlighten you. It came from England.
What for?
A payoff. Our English friends, represented by Miss Clutterbuck,
Thank you, Mr. Cortez.
have cooperated with us, and this was our share of the proceeds.
What kind of racket makes this kind of dough in England?
American servicemen. There are quite a lot of them permanently stationed in England. With the help of Miss Clutterbuck's associates, we have established a complete monopoly of the gambling in the camps.
Oh, I see. It figures. And Duesberg must have been one of the servicemen on your payroll, huh?
He is clever, isn't he, Earl?
How come the money was left with him?
I can explain that, Joe. You see, one of our problems was getting our American friend's percentage out of England and into the States. That was where Carl Duesberg was invaluable.
Or so we thought. A serviceman coming home for discharge, the money traveled in his kit bag. He and Mrs. Duesberg got back, he took a job with Glauben Chemicals, and then everybody waited. When word came through to us that the payoff was to be made, Duesberg claimed he hadn't heard.
Figured he could keep the dough for himself, huh?
Yes, Mr. Kahn, but he found his mistake.
Didn't you try your persuasive tactics out here, Inez?
You...
Quiet, Ines. To finish the story for you, Kahn, we grew tired of waiting. Duesberg suffered an accident. We intended to pick up Mrs. Duesberg, feeling sure she would have the money. As we now know, she didn't. And she realized that nobody would believe her, so she went to Mailer. He gave her a job at the Casbah, and while she was there, she told him this story.
And Mailer saw a golden opportunity to grab himself $200,000 almost out of the air. Huh?
Exactly. He sent Mrs. Duesberg to his club in Duluth, while he started looking for the money. And that is where you came into the picture. When our English associates heard about it, they were embarrassed. They sent us someone to help us find the money. Diane.
And with your help, Joe, dear, we found it.
So that's it, huh? I seem to have done a nice job for everybody.
Especially for me, Kahn.
What?
Mailer!
Watch 'em, Hank. Anybody moves and they get lead poisoning. Nice of you to collect the cash for us, Cortez. Saved us a lot of trouble.
How did you know we had it?
I own the Arabian Nights in Duluth, remember? I got word that Mrs. Duesberg there had suddenly disappeared. I put two and two together, and my answer came to $200,000.
You!
Daisy, when the shooting stars drop to the floor, follow me.
Okay, Joe.
You're all washed up, Cortez. Finished.
Am I?
You and that she-wolf sister of yours.
A she-wolf has teeth.
Oh, she's got a knife.
He knows it now.
On the floor, Daisy. Make for the door.
Joe, you think they saw us crawl out?
I think they were too busy playing targets with each other. Daisy, head up those stairs. See if you can find a phone and call Harding at Homicide. Tell him to get out here fast. Now make it fast, honey. I figure the shooting's nearly over.
All right, Joe, but take care of yourself.
Don't worry. This is one time I'm not playing hero. Let them fight it out for themselves.
Well, so that's the whole story, huh? Brother, what a massacre.
What about Helen Duisberg?
Bullet in the arm, she'll be okay. She was lucky. With all the gunfire, she could have been killed like the rest of them.
Cortez, his sister, that hood of his, Hugo?
The Clutterbuck dame, Mailer, and his pal Hank. Brother, there'll only be standing room at the morgue this week.
Well, I came out of it with a whole hide, for which I'm grateful. But no dough, for which I'm not. You know, I only got $400 from Diane Clutterbuck, and I spent what was left of that on the plane fares to Toulouse.
The taxation boys will take care of the $200,000. They'll call it part of Cortez' undeclared income. But you should get 10% for laying the information.
Harding, you've brightened my day.
You've brightened mine, Gumshoe. When I tell the chief that Cortez has handed in his ticket, he'll be so pleased he might even smile.
The homicide boys took statements from Daisy and me and then let us go. Daisy had a kind of predatory look in her eyes, so I made a quick excuse and headed home for my apartment. But I wasn't getting up so easily. Hello?
You think you're getting away from me, Joe Kahn. But you'd better think again.
Now, Daisy, I told you.
Oh, no, you can't dodge me anymore. The case is over. You've got no one, which means you're doing nothing this evening.
Yeah, but I need rest, honey. My nerves are shattered. My brain's tired.
Well, I've got a nice, cozy atmosphere all ready and waiting for you. I'm all primed for rest, relaxation, and romance. I'll expect you at 7.
Oh, but Daisy, honey.
At 7.
Oh, heck. How can I get out of this lot? She's right. I haven't got anything to do. If only I had a new case to start on. Okay, coming. Yeah?
Mr. Kahn, private detective.
That's me.
I'm sorry to come to your apartment instead of your office, but it's urgent. I'm in trouble, Mr. Kahn. I need help right away. I'm prepared to pay your usual fees if you can start work right now.
Lady, consider me started.
Well, it's like this. I shot my husband exactly 35 minutes ago.
This is Carter Brown. Well, he wanted a new case to start on. I had to give him one. But I think he should have stuck to Daisy, don't you? Anyway, let's leave Joe Kahn and concentrate on my next book, which I've called Love Me, Lieutenant, about a hard-boiled cop who finds himself framed for murder. So this is Carter Brown saying so long for now. Be seeing you.
In Kudos for Kahn, you heard our star Grant Taylor as Joe Kahn. The Carter Brown Mystery Theatre, based on the best-selling novels by Carter Brown, is dramatized and directed by Maurice Travers for Grace Gibson Radio Productions.